Misano Adriatico, a small holiday resort just 10 miles down the road from Rimini, but it's a resort with a difference, as you can see, because behind those beaches is the Misano racetrack, the Santa Monica Autodrome, and after last week's Spanish Grand Prix, that's the World Championship lineup. Kenny Roberts has 40 points. Barry Sheen, 36 points from those three second-place finishes. Third, Franco Uncini with 33. Fourth, Graham Crosby, 16. And Prix has 15 after winning the French Grand Prix. Well, a very picturesque venue, the Santa Monica Autodrome. A sweeping, swerving racetrack, 2.2 miles round. A little short, perhaps, for a Grand Prix, but a challenging course nevertheless. This circuit built 10 years ago, and many improvements being added to the circuit at the moment. They're coming now for the start of the race. Andy Hoffman on the spotted helmet, already on the grid. Court Ballington's up there, and Kenny Roberts coming into view. And just look at the crowd. Well, 60,000 fans, they have estimated, have crammed into this autodrome, and they're all praying, hoping for a Italian victory, and two men on the grid could definitely do that. There you see them, number 13, Franco Uncini. Alongside him, Uncini in pole position, alongside Uncini, Freddie Spencer on the Honda three-cylinder. Then Graham Crosby in the red and white Yamaha. Alongside Crosby is Marco Lucinelli, the world champion. Alongside him, Kenny Roberts. Back on the second row of the grid after a disastrous practice. Burnt out two pistons, had trouble with his suspension, Barry Sheen. But in worse trouble than Barry is Randy Momola. Randy Momola finished second in the World Championship last year so far, and he scored 4 World Championship points. Can Randy make amends here at Misano? Well, they're getting ready for the off. Always push starts in World Championship Grand Prix. Many other races have clutch starts, but this is always a push start at a Grand Prix. The last final moments, the seconds tick away. They're poised, the patter of tiny feet, and who's going to fire first? Well, it looks like Marco Lucinelli, yes, number 1, the world champion, does a little wheelie and gets into the lead first. Barry Sheen, I think, was third. Graham Crosby, I saw, made a very slow start. But it is Marco Lucinelli, yes, Kenny Roberts is second. Third, Barry Sheen, so a good start from Barry Sheen. He'll be pleased about that after that poor practice performance. And they sweep away this circuit lined by concrete barriers all the way around, so the fans can't get in without paying, but 60,000 definitely have paid, and now they go on to long sweeping straight. That's the corner they call the Cavoni. Then up to about 165 miles an hour, going up through the gearbox, and just look, and Kenny Roberts has taken the lead. Yes, Kenny Roberts has zapped past Marco Lucinelli, and they break down into this third gear Tramonto corner, and it is undoubtedly Kenny Roberts on the new V4 Yamaha, only its third race in the lead from Marco Lucinelli. Barry Sheen looks as if he's still in third place. Franco Uncini is in fifth, but there he is, number 3. Kenny Roberts, and Marco Lucinelli just takes the inside line and takes it away from him. It's Freddie Spencer now third. Barry Sheen is fourth. Franco Uncini was taking Barry Sheen, but it is Marco Lucinelli, the Italian world champion, raced for Suzuki last year, now riding for the much revised Honda team. 3 Hondas in this race. Takazumi Katayama in the bunch there on the third one. So number 1 is Marco Lucinelli. Kenny Roberts is in second. Number 22, that is fast Freddie Spencer from Louisiana, in his very first season of Grand Prix racing. Already something of a sensation, just 20 years old. Came to Britain when he was 18 and was a sensation in the Transatlantic Series. Now he's doing it all in the World Championship, looking for Honda's first win since the 1960s. And this could be the race today. Certainly it's a Honda in the lead. Number 1, Marco Lucinelli. Down that long chute again, hard on the brakes. Right down from 165 to perhaps 80 miles an hour. Third gear certainly for Kenny Roberts. Some of them are taking it in second, but lots of talk from the V4 Yamaha, the only V4 Yamaha in the field. And there, Franco Uncini in fourth place on the blue Suzuki, the highest place Suzuki so far. Barry Sheen in fifth. Was he looking down at the motor? I'm not sure. Barry Sheen in fifth. Corky Ballington was in sixth place. And there is Uncini, 27 years old. his first season as a 500cc factory rider. Suzuki, remember, have two separate factory teams, one in Britain, Randy Mamola rides for that one, and then one out of Italy, managed by the ex-rider Roberto Gallina, and that is the team that Franco Uncini rides for. He won the Austrian Grand Prix, and he looked as if he was trying to take third place from Freddie Spencer. Didn't quite make it. They very nearly touched. That was quite an incident, but Franco Uncini is obviously having a charge. Kenny Roberts well tucked down behind the bubble. Freddie Spencer trying hard. Spencer on the three-cylinder Honda, a V3, these Hondas. Honda had almost 3 seasons of going well, of racing with four-cylinder, four-stroke bikes. That didn't work out. They've gone to 2 strokes with these 3-cylinder 2 strokes, and it's such an improvement. So Franco Uncini holding a watching brief in 4th place. It looks as if Barry Sheen's dropping back a little bit. Kenny Roberts slides his backside across the motorcycle. There is Lucanelli. Just look how close his knee is to the ground. They wear pads on their knees to stop the leathers wearing out. And Marco Lucanelli, I would suggest, he's starting to pull away a little bit. Are we going to have our first Honda win? Well, one man who would try and stop that is Kenny Roberts. Graham Crosby seemed to be coming up. Graham Crosby now shadowing Court Ballington. There's the green leathers of Court Ballington and the new patches on the track. You'll notice those new patches. Now, they caused quite a bit of controversy before practice, and there was even a suggestion that some riders would boycott this race, but the new patching seems to have worked out all right. Everybody seems happy, and they're certainly setting a fast pace here. And Freddie Spencer just taking 2nd place. Yes, at the end of the long straight, Freddie Spencer, the young American, got past the much more experienced American, Kenny Roberts. So we have a new order at the front. Marco Lucanelli in the lead. 2nd, Freddie Spencer. Honda's 1st and 2nd. Uncini is now 3rd. Uncini has just snapped past Kenny Roberts, and the back wheel almost snaps out too, as the bike does a little shimmy as it comes out of the corner. There is Lucanelli in the lead. Marco Lucanelli, 27-year-old, fun-loving Italian. On Friday night, I can tell you, he was at a party until quite late, singing his own record. He's made a record, and he was certainly enjoying that party, but it doesn't seem to have affected his performance today. And Barry Sheen seems to have lost this leading quartet. Barry Sheen in 5th place, dropping back. Now, that's a shame for the British fans. Barry, there is Barry now. Remember, he's finished 2nd in the 3 Grand Prix he's taken part in this year. This was his chance to actually take the lead of the World Championship, but it doesn't look as if it's to be. Freddie Spencer going well, the blue overalls, blue leathers of Franco Uncini. And just look at the way Lucanelli is tucked under the bubble, but Freddie Spencer closing up under braking. Freddie Spencer racing at this track for the very first time. Marco Lucanelli knows it well, raced in many Italian championship races here. Marco, the world champion last year, after a great battle with Kenny Roberts and Randy Mamola. And Uncini, yes, taking 2nd place from Freddie Spencer. Well, Franco Uncini is the matchstick man of motorcycle racing. Very, very thin, weighs less than 9. So he looks as if he's taken the lead. Yes, Franco Uncini. One corner he goes to 2nd place. The next corner he takes the lead from Marco Lucanelli. So it's now Lucanelli against Uncini, and those two men do not like each other very much, I have to tell you. But the Austrian Grand Prix, they had a great race together, and on the very last corner, when they were side by side, Lucanelli fell off and Franco Uncini went on to win, and that was his very first 500cc World Championship victory. He has won World Championship races before. He rode for Harley Davidson in the 1977 250cc World Championship and was in fact the runner-up in the World Championship. Well, 5 laps now completed, 35 to go. And so we've had 3 separate leaders already. Marco Lucanelli has led. Franco Uncini is now leading. Kenny Roberts had a little dabble in the front. And the Hondas are definitely going very well. And Freddie Spencer up to 2nd, so Marco Lucanelli, after that early lead, has now dropped back to 3rd place. So let's just recap on the order. Unini is leading. Freddie Spencer is second. Marco Lucinelli is third. And fourth, Kenny Roberts. Kenny Roberts not having the race we expected. This new Yamaha has a few teething problems. Kenny's sorting it out, but isn't entirely happy with the bike yet. Now that's Unini on the latest Suzuki, the Square 4. They call that bike the RG Gamma 2, that's the official designation. Little wheelies as they pop past the start-finish line again. So there you see the order. Unini, Lucinelli, Spencer, Roberts, Barry Sheen still in fifth. Graham Crosby in sixth place. Graham Crosby after that slow start. Really charging well. Well, can Barry Sheen make up some of that lost ground? Really is quite a distance behind those four. Unini, a very stylish rider. Keeps all his legs and elbows tucked in fairly well. Freddie Spencer, in contrast, is very spectacular. Slides well off the saddle. Well, there you see man and machine, poetry and motion, the two almost as one. Unini tucked behind the bubble. Then he pops his head up, uses his body to help with the braking as he goes into the Tramonto corner. Round that corner, third, maybe even second gear. Accelerates out. Just about fourth gear there. Then down into the other slow corner, the Correia. That's a second gear corner. There's Lucinelli, there's Kenny Roberts, bumping a little bit over that patch piece of circuit. Any one of these four could still win this one. Unini looking in relative command, about a second over his nearest rival, Freddie Spencer. And Freddie Spencer will be so keen to win his first Grand Prix. He'll be trying absolutely everything. And Graham Crosby is in front of Barry Sheen. Barry Sheen has dropped to sixth place. Well, I wonder if Barry's got some problems. There's the familiar number 7, the Yamaha, a Square 4. The same bike, in fact, the OW60 model, the same bike as Graham Crosby. And I would suggest that Barry is in a little bit of problem because he hasn't had any problems sorting out Graham Crosby so far this season. Very unhappy with the bike in practice. Changed all the suspension on Friday night, all the settings, and on Saturday still couldn't make the bike handle quite as well as he'd hoped. A couple of seconds off Unini's best lap in practice. There is Franco. 2 very good years as a privateer in 500cc Grand Prix racing on a Suzuki Unini. Then last year could only finish 13th in the World Championship. Nevertheless, Roberto Gallina, who lost his star rider Lucinelli, decided to sign Unini, and Unini has been the revelation of the season. There's absolutely no question of doubt about that. Unini is leading. There is Marco Lucinelli on the Honda. There is the style of Kenny Roberts, the Californian. King Kenny, 3 times the world champion, and a little bit of a wobble on for Kenny as he goes past the crowded main grandstand. Kenny's Yamaha has got a very special rear suspension system that nobody else has got, a concertina type system as well as the V4 engine, and the combination obviously proving a bit of a handful. Kenny's still very much the keen competitor, twice an American champion, 3 times a world champion, lost it last year to Marco Lucinelli. Freddie Spencer, meanwhile, very much the new boy of Grand Prix motorcycle racing. There's Unini again, hard on the brakes. These bikes lapping at about 1:23 seconds, and there is Giacomo Agostini, 15 times a world champion, and now a team manager, the team manager of Graham Crosby, and he must be pleased with Graham's performance as he moves up the field. There is Freddie Spencer and the position. Unini leading, Spencer second, Roberts third, Lucinelli is fourth, Crosby is fifth, and Court Ballington now in sixth place. Where is Barry Sheen? Franco Unini starting to pull away now from Freddie Spencer. Kenny Roberts is in third place, Marco Lucinelli fourth, but Graham Crosby is having a great charge of moving up and catching Roberts and Lucinelli, so we'll have to watch for Graham Crosby. But Franco Unini riding the race of his life, undoubtedly his best performance so far, but one little mistake, and definitely waiting to pounce is Freddie Spencer, who'd still like so much to win his first Grand Prix. For there is Kenny Roberts. Kenny Roberts now being challenged again by Marco Lucanelli. Both led the race in the early stages, now fighting over third place, and perhaps could come under a bit of pressure from Graham Crosby. Kenny Roberts, Marco Lucanelli. And was that Barry Sheen they just passed in? Somebody was touring. It might have been Barry Sheen. Barry Sheen had dropped down to 7th on my lap chart, and now I think he was touring. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, it will be a very bad, sad day for Barry if he can't finish this one. Franco Uncini riding superbly well. Very neat and tight, as you see through there. Freddie Spencer still keeping the pressure on quite a bit. There is Kenny Roberts, the yellow helmet with the eagle on the side of it. And fourth, Marco Lucanelli with the star on his helmet. And there is Graham Crosby, bike number 5, in 5th position. Red and white Yamaha OW60. And then a long, long way till the next rider. And the next rider is Court Ballington on the Kawasaki, the lone green Kawasaki in this race. 500cc square 4. Monocoque chassis, totally different sort of frame to the other bikes. They've got tubular frames. This one has got a monocoque design, sheet metal design. The smallest of the 4 major Japanese manufacturers, Kawasaki, always run their bikes in green. And look at Cork, the former 250, 350 world champion, just popping a wheelie as he goes past the pits. And there you see the flood. Oh, look, there is Barry Sheen. Barry Sheen cruising into the pits. Well, that looks pretty final to me. Barry Sheen into the pits. Oh, tragedy for Barry Sheen. He's not going to finish this one. But there is Freddie Spencer. And Marco Lucanelli and Kenny Roberts still contesting that third place. Plenty of bite left in this race yet. Marco having a nibble. Can he go down the inside of Kenny? No, he can't. Very difficult part of the track, this. Kenny reckoned that this is the key point on the race circuit, he told me in practice. And Kenny Roberts and Marco Lucanelli. Kenny getting a bit of a wobble on. Past the pits, still Kenny in third place, but Marco is turning up the wick of the Honda. And you have to be so careful on these 125-mile-an-hour motorcycles. Just a bit too much of the throttle hand, and it'll spit you off and down the road, and that's not a pleasant experience at all. Graham Crosby still after that pair. Kenny, world champion for 3 years, but lost it last year to the man he's racing against. Still leading Franco Uncini. Franco, the former Harley-Davidson rider. Franco started racing in 1974. And as I said, in 1977 was the runner-up in the 250 World Championship. Now a fully fledged Suzuki rider. And Barry Sheen out of it. And I have just heard from the pits that Barry Sheen had engine problems. They're not quite sure what the problem actually is. That's Pelletier on his Morbidelli. But Barry Sheen thinks that perhaps it was an ignition problem, or maybe even a crankshaft broken, but he is definitely out of the race. Well, Barry Sheen will almost certainly drop now from his second place in the World Championship. It means he really will have to work hard at the next event at Assen in 4 weeks' time to make up the deficit which is lost today. Never a happy weekend for Barry Sheen, but a very good one, so far at least, for Franco Uncini. 27-year-old, married, comes from Recanati in Italy. I hope I pronounced that one right. And there you see the floodlights. This, I think, is the only race circuit in the world where they can hold racing under floodlights. And indeed they do. Car racing, in fact, not bike racing so far. 10 years this circuit has been built. And there, after 16 laps, Franco Uncini, you see, is leading by 2.25 seconds from Spencer. Third is Roberts, fourth Lucanelli, fifth Crosby, sixth Ballington, and Barry Sheen, of course, now completely off the frame. A fine mixture of curves here at the Misano track. And this long, fast straight, and there you see Graham Crosby shooting past the back marker, and is now very much hounding Lucanelli and Roberts. Freddie Spencer his spectacular style on the Honda number 22. There is number 3 and number 1. And look, Graham Crosby is right up behind Marco Lucanelli now. And he just powers past him as they race past the pits. Graham Crosby goes past the Honda. I'm not sure if Marco's got a bit of engine problem, but Graham Crosby is really on his way. Graham Crosby has never won a World Championship race. Came to Britain 3 years ago and was a sensation on a high-bar Kawasaki. Did extremely well at the TT, has since been back to the TT and won there. Freddie Spencer has never been to the TT, and he leads a group of back markers. They're starting to go through the field now, up to about 13th place, that group battling for 13th, 14th, 15th positions. And now Graham Crosby on the tail of Kenny Roberts. Randy Mamola in the picture has been lapped. Randy Mamola having a very unhappy race. Oh yes, and Randy's in the pits. Randy has just pulled into the pits out of our picture, talking to manager Tim Doyle, it looks like, yes. Jim Doyle leaning over. Randy shakes his head. Well, what can the problem be? Only 4 points in the World Championship so far this year, and an absolutely dreadful season for Randy on his factory Suzuki. But this factory Suzuki is undoubtedly in the lead now, 10 seconds after 30 laps, three-quarter distance. Franco Uncini is leading from Spencer, Crosby, Roberts, Lucanelli and Ballington. That order fairly well set, although Lucanelli could move up and repass Kenny Roberts. There is Graham Crosby, the Kiwi star, currently learning to fly, enjoys flying. Very erudite young man. Has had his arguments with Randy Mamola, was Randy's teammate last year and fell out with Randy in the biggest possible way, and in fact Suzuki sacked Crosby at the end of the year. Now he's with Yamaha. Freddie Spencer is with Honda, a three-cylinder bike, certainly showing it's the equal of the majority of the Yamahas and Suzukis, and that wasn't the case last year or the year before. Great return to 500cc racing after a full start by Honda. And Freddie Spencer, a great find. 20 years old now, was a teenage sensation. Many bike fans will remember how he came to the transatlantic races. Oh, and a crash! That looks like Sergio Pellandini. Pellandini, the Swiss rider, is down. He looks okay, and his bike doesn't look too badly damaged. Well, they can spit you off so quickly, those bikes. Medical aid, very quick to Pellandini. He's not unconscious, he looks okay. He might have perhaps a broken collarbone. That's one of the regular injuries in motorcycle racing. Pellandini looks okay, and actually his bike doesn't look too bad either. Well, Franco Uncini very definitely in command of this motorcycle race. Looks all set to score 15 World Championship points unless something goes wrong in the closing stages. Style of Franco. He's the rider's representative, incidentally, on the FIM. He advises on circuit safety, and he was the man that led the boycott at Nogaro. Well, now he comes to the finish line, and Franco Uncini has won it on unlucky number 13. Lucky today for Franco Uncini. He waves to the 60,000 Italian fans, and he'll be the darling of those fans for certain. There's the order. Uncini first, second Spencer, third Crosby, fourth Roberts. Good ride from Crosby. Fifth Lucanelli. Sixth, Cork Ballington. Seventh, Katayama. And a very happy Franco Uncini, giving the Roberto Gallina team a great win. And he pops a wheelie, celebrates his victory with a wheelie. Oh, they're just coming into the picture. Second place for Freddie Spencer, his best World Championship finish, and the best World Championship finish by Honda with their new three-cylinder racer. So now it's the victory scenes, and there the World Championship. And that puts Uncini in the lead of the World Championship, equal with Kenny Roberts, both on 48 points. Barry Sheen still has 36. Graham Crosby, 26 after his fine ride. Fifth, Freddie Spencer, 22. Sixth, Lucanelli, 18. And Takazumi Katayama on the third Honda. He now has 16 World